Good evening, you guys. As everyone's hopping on here, my name is Karla Italiano, and I'm so excited to be with you here tonight. We're going to chat this week about developing your story. And this is something I'm super excited about for several reasons. One is because maybe you can relate to this. Perhaps you're brand new or you have some brand new team members who feel like they don't have a story yet. And so they therefore cannot share a story or their story or any story and cannot share with other people, right? So some of you may feel like that or know somebody who does. Or maybe you've been in this for a while and you're like, all right, I know my story, but you haven't fully grasped the power of what you have with your story. So if one of those is the case for you, I'm really excited because tonight we're going to talk about your story, how to develop it and how to share it with ease and with confidence. So let me pull up my slides here. And I believe I figured out how I can look this way and see this. So if I could just, I can't see very many of you. Somebody text me if you're having issues with that this time. I'll watch my phone. But I think we're good with slides. But you guys, I know, right? Some of you are thinking, when I lose the weight, when I make the money, then I'll have a story worth sharing, right? Some of you feel like that. Just put a hands up or a wave or something. Any of you feel like that or have somebody in your team? Okay, thank you. I see some hands going. Absolutely. I mean, that's natural to feel. But in reality, everyone has a story. You do have a story right now. I know this because the fact that you're even on this call or watching the recording validates that. No matter if you're brand new or you're veteran in isogenics, you do have a story with power that can transform other people's lives. And so at the end of this call, my goal is to help you have at least one story, maybe even two if there's time. And not only to have those stories, but learn some skills behind sharing it with courage in order to build your business. And this is really important because wouldn't you agree that it's fascinating that we have the opportunity to earn an unlimited income by essentially just talking with people, right? I mean, it doesn't matter if you're introverted like me, some of you, or extroverted. Talking with people is a skill that we probably have a lot of practice in. Like we were doing it since we're about 1 or 2 years old, right? And here we are saying in network marketing, we can make an unlimited income by talking with people. I mean, I went to school to get an engineering degree in order to have a career. And engineers get paid to do some pretty complicated things, right? Did anyone go to school to learn some pretty complicated things to earn an income? Yes. And then was there an expected range of income that you could expect from that skill set that you went to school to learn? Something that was very complicated, right? Or at least something that you weren't able to do as a 2-year-old. Yeah. And then here we are saying in network marketing, you have the unlimited opportunity to make an income by talking with people. Yes, it's so true. It's such a beautiful profession because let me tell you, maybe the platforms might change. Social media might even come and go. But the core skills of this profession, network marketing, are always the same. And I knew when I decided to pursue isogenics and pursue this as a business and become a professional network marketer, in order to achieve my goals and to live my why, I needed to develop these core skills, regardless of the platform, right? Those core skills are to find people, invite them to take a look, presenting, following up, enrolling people, and getting them to events, right? And note that most of those pretty much have to do with talking with people. It's pretty simple, right? It seems simple at least, right? But why does it not always feel that way? Well, chances are, in the journey of becoming professional network marketers, it's quite possible that we've complicated things by separating the networking and the marketing. And here's what I mean by that. Because think about your own journey. Perhaps you have the network, but not the marketing. Or you have the marketing, but not the network. For example, maybe you have the network, like you're connected. You have lots of friends in person and online. But when it comes to sharing isogenics with all of them, you're just maybe not doing it, right? Or maybe you have the marketing. I mean, you are marketing. We see your posts, right? But perhaps the response from your network, the number of authentic connections just isn't there, right? But from what I've found is that the key to connecting the network with the marketing is by sharing your story. Yes, the key to connecting the network with the marketing is your story, right? And here's an example. I can illustrate this for you, right? So some of you know me, but quite a few probably don't. But you may know a few things about me. And by now, I've said a few things, and you might be somewhat open to the training that I have for you tonight, right? But what if I share with you that I'm also a mom. I'm a mom of 3 amazing girls, 2 of which happen to be twins. And what if I share with you that I was a product user for a long, long time before starting to build this business? In fact, 6 years as a customer. Or what if I share with you that when I did start to build this business, of the first 30 people that I reached out to, only 1 said yes, and that 1 returned her products? And what if I share with you that in one of those early attempts to share isogenics, a guy literally stood up and walked away from me? Or what if I share with you that I dove into this business with the goal of achieving executive in 30 days, but 1 year later, I was just hitting manager? Now, in hearing these additional pieces of my story, do you now feel more open to hearing what I have to say for you? Anyone? Raise hands. Yes. Nodding. Yes. I see some nods. Good. A few. Yes. Why did that happen? Why? Well, chances are perhaps you're a parent as well, so you connect with that part of my story, or perhaps you've experienced a challenge in your business as well, or it's taken you longer than expected, and you relate to that part of my story, right? You see, it's not just what you've accomplished, it's not just where I am now, it's where I've been that allows you to connect with me, right? See, it's the journey to get there that allows the connection and the openness for you to hear what I have to say, right? And this is the power. Because you see, people might admire you for your strengths, for your accomplishments, for your rank advancements, for your weight loss, for all those things, but they connect with you through your weaknesses, through your challenges, through your journey, right? And this is the power of your story, right? So no matter where you are in the present, if you're brand new, if you've been in it for a while, if you've achieved goals, if you haven't yet achieved goals, you do have a before in your story, right? And at least a hope and a belief in the after of your story, right? And that is all that you need in order to have a powerful story that can impact and change lives. So today, my goal is to provide you not only with the tools to develop your story and help your team do it as well as you grow, but also to grow your posture and your courage to share it, okay? So let's talk about that. The value of your story. The value of your story comes, first of all, in growing your business through connecting the network with the marketing, right? So those who are already in your network hear your story, they become more open to receive your marketing. And those who may have been seeing your posts, they hear your authentic story, it allows them to connect with you more. So it connects the network and the marketing, allows you to grow your business. Your story also can build camaraderie and retention in your team. It inspires your team. Your story can become the cornerstone to your team's belief, and it can help them to grow and inspire themselves. And when you create a culture of sharing stories, not just your own, but other people in your team, it just takes off. I wanted to give a shout out to Dawn Britton, who's a team member of ours. I don't believe she's on the call tonight, but she's our newest 100-pound club member, and she is brilliant at sharing her story. She's done it on our team call several times, and especially in our Facebook page, and she has inspired us all. And it is not uncommon in our team page to have some just not connected to her, to someone in the page, a product customer who has fallen off track for some reason, to come back re-inspired and tag Dawn as his or her inspiration to get back on track. That is the power of a story, not just for you, but when you create that within your team. And third, your story has value in upholding our company culture. No doubt that when your sponsor first shared Isagenix with you, it wasn't just their story alone that they shared with you, but likely you saw and heard other stories, transformations, journeys as well, right? And so when you share your story, when I share my story, when we all share our stories, this helps to uphold our culture so that together we can continue to grow and push this movement along. This is great at events as well. You will notice at events, you will hear stories shared from stage, and it'll do the same thing. And you will share your story in the hallways and at the dinner time, at lunchtime. That's going to inspire other people as well. All right. So in developing your story, there is both the actual skill of doing it as well as the posture and the courage in sharing it. And I'll be honest, like that second piece, having the courage and the posture to do it, was really all along the part that challenged me the most, right? So you see, I mentioned earlier I was an engineer, didn't I? I don't know if I did, but I was, yes. And so when I was an engineer, let's be honest, of all types of professionals, how many engineers do you know who are good at connecting with people and talking and telling stories, right? Not a lot. And so this was not an area that I'd ever focused on, or that I wasn't naturally gifted in. And so when my sponsor, Terry, first shared Isagenix with me and the opportunity to create residual income, actually the first time she shared this opportunity for residual income with me, it was through another company. So at the time, I started to build on the side of my engineering career this residual income opportunity with another company. And I loved it. I loved the culture, I loved the opportunity and the people, but I'll be honest, like I soon got burned out. I never achieved the level of success with that other company that I really wanted, and I got frustrated and burned out, and it really, really crushed my confidence, right? And so, I still believe that it could work. I just didn't believe that I could do it. But thank goodness, eventually, down the road, that same friend who shared the profession with me also shared with me Isagenix. She did it by telling her story, right? She was having an amazing product experience, and she said the income opportunity was much more simple and abundant, which she was definitely right about, but I wasn't open to that part at the time, but I was open to the product. So I started, my husband and I were newly married. By the way, we just celebrated 13 years yesterday. And, but we started the products together about 11 and a half years ago, and we loved it. We both had some weight to lose. We lost it and we maintained it. So we've been continuing to enjoy these products for 11 and a half years. They supported me through every season of life, including 2 pregnancies, one of them with twins, helped me get back in shape and lose the baby weight after each time. And I even got into the best shape of my life after breastfeeding the twins for 2.5 years. Yes, I did. I did that. And yes, I did. Got into the best shape of my life. You guys, thank you, Isagenix. This before picture you see is just a few months before starting Isagenix. The after, this is like newly married, no kids. That's the before picture. This after is with twin 3-year-olds and a 5-year-old. Right? So this stuff works. And obviously a lot of additional work was involved with that, but it would not have been possible. This transformation would not have been possible without these amazing products, right? So even though I was having a great product experience, I just simply was not open to sharing the business yet until my why grew. And this is my why. It's my family. And it's my husband, you see, and we have 3 beautiful girls. In that picture on the right, you see Louisa in the middle. It's big sister, and the twins, Clara and Gloria, on each side of her. And it was about 5.5 years ago when all 3 of them were school-aged. And we had found an amazing private Christian school that we loved for them. But what does private school usually mean? money, right? And I had never gone back to my engineering career, and I'd let go of the other business by this point. We're living off my husband's salary, and he makes a great income, which we are very thankful for. But we soon realized that the cost of their tuition was going to jump faster than my husband's income was. So that's when I decided to check out Isagenix as an income opportunity and be more open. And what better way to check it out than to attend my very first Isagenix event? It was going to Celebration in Nashville. It's coming up, you guys. And then University in Action soon after that at NYK. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Get your tickets because the events are everything. They truly grow your mindset, your power, your income. They are truly life-changing. But I went to my first event. It was a UIA, University in Action. It was in Kansas City, Missouri. And I flew there from here in Savannah, Georgia, where I lived. And it was at this event that my belief started to grow again. It's at this event that I first learned the 30-second story format, which we're going to touch on tonight and train on. And by listening to stories from stage of other highly successful people, it helped me to grow my belief that I could do it too. See, it's at that event that I really changed my true story from I tried and I couldn't to I committed and I did. See, when you can change your story like that and truly commit to the outcome, believe in the outcome, commit to that outcome of your story before it actually happens, that is when your power grows. That's where your power is. You change it from I tried and I couldn't to I committed and I did. So when that happened at that event, I left with a huge goal, right? So my goal was to achieve executive. Obviously, that's where to go when you set a big goal. And my goal was to do it in 30 days, just like the big rock stars on stage, right? I was willing to work hard and do the work. So I did it, and my first 30 days came and went. And in that amount of time, I'd reached out to my first 30 people, right? So now I'd had a list of 100, and my intention had been to get through all of them. But I ran out of time because, you see, it was taking me about an hour to make each call. And it wasn't even actually because it was taking an hour like to talk to people. It's actually because I was spending an hour preparing and rehearsing and being nervous and writing out exactly what to say on a voicemail or in person, if they answered or not. Can anyone relate to that? Just that nervousness of making the call. So that is what took me so long, but I did it, right? I did it. Anyway, some of that is okay, and that's fine to do it when you start, but the more you get, into the skill, the better that gets. But of those initial 30 reaches, 29 said no or ignored me, and one said yes, and that one returned her products. Yep, that happened. But my why was strong, so I kept going. And a few months later, I actually attended my second Isagenix event, which was an ISAU, again in Kansas City. And it was in leaving that event that I got up the courage to talk to strangers about Isagenix. So I did so at the airport while waiting to board the flight to go home. And yes, the guy literally stood up and walked away from me and sat down in another chair when I tried to do so. That was hard, right? That really crushed my confidence. But you know what? By this point, I was unwilling to keep living a life of limited choices. I really wanted freedom and abundance in my life, and I was willing to do the work to do it. I was truly committed to that outcome, and I knew that if I would be willing to keep going and grow myself and grow my comfort zone and improve my skills, become the best version of myself, then there's no reason why I couldn't do it no matter how many people ran away from me. So I kept going. I kept being consistent. I kept plugging in. I kept going to events. I kept falling down and getting back up again and just doing it with belief that eventually someday, no matter how long it took, it was going to pay off. And I remember about a year later hitting manager. A big reward around that time, although it wasn't where I wanted to be in my rank, I remember writing the check around that time for the tuition for my girls, which was my goal, right? And I had been able to pay for the entire month for all three of them from 1 week's commission from Isagenix. That was such a huge, powerful milestone for me. And I kept going. Remember, my goal had been to achieve executive in 30 days? Well, I didn't stop until I got there. executive. 20 months later. And I did it again, and I did it again, and I did it again. And now I've exceeded my former engineering income, make a 6-figure income in network marketing. It's just so abundant. Obviously, more than we've been able to pay for their school, which is my initial goal. It's just so abundant, and it's residual, you guys. This is the power that you have in committing to the outcome of your story long before it happens and growing your confidence in the process. You know, confidence comes from being able to do something that you haven't been able to do before. So let's dive into some of those skills, brand new, of sharing your story. Okay. So first of all, where are you going to use your story? Just real quick, this is different places. Obviously, face-to-face. This could be a meeting over coffee intentionally, or somebody you're brand new meeting in the elevator or on the go or in the line at the grocery store, right? Sending it in messages, a short version. Social media post. This could be written out, or a live video, recorded video. Your ideal life presentation, which is just a fancy way to say a home party or a sip and sample launch party. Of course, team calls are also a great opportunity. These last two especially are great opportunities for you to invite your team to share their story and give them experience in it as well. Now, if you have a sheet of paper, I'd love for you to grab it and take notes. If not, you know, watch this on replay and just pause it here. If you have your ISO Life book, you can turn to page 12 in it. You can download this from isogenicsbusiness.com, or if you've attended an event lately, you likely got something that looks like this. Or you can print just this page off the internet, or you can copy this down real quick. But your 30-second story format is one of the most classic ways. And these formats may seem restricted, but they're actually brilliant, because what you'll see that'll happen is that even before you remember word for word your story like you want to tell it, you'll remember the template. You'll remember the steps and the format, which allows you to remember it on the spot even better. And you can recall what to do, and you keep it short and relevant. You see, you're going to want a different story for each solution. Because here's the key. You're going to connect with people, ask them questions. What's their pain point? Is it energy or sleep or financial pain? What is it? And your story likely includes solutions for all of those and more. I know, we get excited. But the one story you're going to want is the one thing that connects with that person. So here's how you do it. And we're just going to touch on this. And I want to get you set up so that after the call later on your own time, really develop this. But on this page, you'll see there's different bullet points. The steps. 1 is before, as in before Isogenics. 2 is I was introduced to Isogenics by. You can see it out there on your screen as well. 3 was I have been on the products for, it's the length of time. 4 is as a result, I am now. And number 5 is I now feel or believe. So when you get into this, what I'd like you to first do is think about one benefit to the products that you've experienced. Maybe it's weight loss. You lost 50 pounds. Maybe it's sleep. You get better sleep. Maybe it's energy. You don't nap in the afternoon anymore. What is one product benefit you experience? You're going to think of that first and put it next to number 4, which says, as a result, I am now. As a result, I'm now 50 pounds lighter. As a result, I'm now maintaining my weight with ease, right? This is what you're going to put for number 4. Start there. Then think of the opposite. What was that like before Isogenics? You're going to put the opposite up at the top of the page next to number 1, right? So if your after was, as a result, I am now 50 pounds lighter. Your before could be, before Isogenics, I was 50 pounds overweight. Or before Isogenics, I couldn't sleep through the night. Before Isogenics, I just wanted to sleep all day, right? What is the before, the after, right? Then you'll notice under each of these, there's an additional 1, 2, and 3. Additional 1, 2, and 3. These are going to indicate how you felt because of that heading point. What did it mean to you? For example, if before Isogenics you were 50 pounds overweight, underneath maybe you felt stuck, you're frustrated. Maybe you felt out of control in your eating. Maybe you hated walking into your closet because you couldn't wear anything. Maybe you felt obsessed by the scale. Maybe you thought about food all the time. Maybe you you didn't go out with your kids to play as much because you were embarrassed about how you looked. Like, what did it mean to you? So that's what you do. Take your before Isagenix, and then right underneath it, what did it mean to you? How did it feel? And then you're going to match that up with the after, right? If before your emotions were controlled by the scale, perhaps is the subset one, then at the bottom you say, I don't look at the scale hardly at all. I don't even think about it, right? These are your freedom points underneath. So you're going to match the above to the bottom, right? So then once you get those done, you fill in number 2 and 3, which are simpler, right? 3 is I was introduced to Isagenix by the name and the relationship, right? My friend, Terry, my chiropractor, George, my mom, right? Whoever that is. Then number 3 is I have been on the products for, use the time frame, right? If it's short, that speaks volumes about how excited you are already about the products. If it's a long time, it's also great because it shows how this is a lifestyle and not just a get fit quick and lose weight fast and then get off. It's actually a lifestyle. And then number 5 at the bottom is I now feel or I now believe. This is your belief statement. This is the whole reason why you're telling the story in the first place, right? I now believe that everyone deserves to feel this amazing in their body. I now believe that everyone deserves to feel this freedom in their health, right? So you could do this about business or product, but the objective is find one thing to create it about and put it through. Do you feel like this is a process that you could do for yourself and you could repeat for yourself for different outcomes and also train your team to do as well? Yes? Some yeses, nod heads, hands up, good. See it. Thank you. Thanks so much. Awesome. Now, if you do have your book, you'll see there are some examples on the different pages that you might want to check out. Now, I know we're running out of time, but I just want to touch on this 4-step story structure. This is a different one. This was taught by Eric Worre. It's another simple one. You can, again, use it for product or income, but here are the steps. First, you indicate your background. Like before Isagenix, I was an engineer, right? Then it's the things that you didn't like. This bullet is the most important because remember at the beginning how we demonstrated how your journey, your challenge, your before is how you're going to connect with people, right? The things you didn't like, right? Before Isagenix, I was engineer. It was a great opportunity, but I was frustrated that with each promotion, I was offered more money, but less time, freedom to enjoy my life and my family and the things that I really love, right? That's the most important. 3 is how Isagenix came to the rescue. How Isagenix came to the rescue. I found a solution, right? Now working with Isagenix, then your results, right? Or how you feel about your future, right? So now as a result, I'm able to design my day and I make even more money from my cell phone at home than I did from a cubicle with a master's degree. Okay, so that's an idea. And here's an important point. Even if you have not achieved a level of success in your business that you would like, it's okay because you can indicate how you feel about the future because of your new enthusiasm around network marketing. Whether or not you even enrolled your first person, you feel that something has shifted inside, right? You have a new hope and a belief and an expectation for your future and your freedom and your family because of Isagenix, and that's what you change. Even without the results that you think that you require to inspire someone, just your enthusiasm and passion about where you're going is enough to inspire people to follow you and to change lives. Okay, now I know we're right at 9:30, but if you're willing to hang on with me with just a few more minutes, I wanted to add another piece of my story and one really important part about your story, and that is this. The true power of your story is the fact that it is unique to you, right? When you share it with people, they may reject your offer. They may or may not sign up with Isagenix. But they can't reject your story because it's your story, it's your experience. So this allows you something to share freely with others without fear of rejection, which is something that comes eventually anyway. But even before your mindset gets there, share your story. because it offers you that freedom. Also, your story is unique to you. Your story is unique to you. So there are people that are waiting for you to share your story with them, that no one else is going to share a story. Like, there is no other person that can touch some people who are going to hear your story, because your story is meant to be shared. And finally, your story truly sets you apart. One of the biggest traps we can all get into at times is the comparison trap. Would you agree? And one of the easiest, simplest ways I have found to get out of it is by focusing on your story. Because I'll just be really honest with you. A lot of times, like when I'm getting ready to get on calls like this, or the few times I've been invited to share on stage at the corporate events like ICU, I get something called imposter syndrome. Is anyone familiar with what imposter syndrome is? So, imposter syndrome is when you doubt your accomplishments and you perhaps feel like you're inadequate for the recognition or for the way that people view you or for the next level, right? It's an internal mindset, right? And sometimes that can creep in like, oh my gosh, who am I to achieve executive? Who am I to become a millionaire? Who am I to talk with the leader in my community? Who am I to talk with the group fitness instructor, right? Sometimes we can get in our head about those things, right? That's the way I feel sometimes about speaking with amazing leaders like you on stage, and like, who am I to train among these other amazing top leaders? But you know how I snap out of it, and how you can too, is with your story, right? Because my story is unique. And when I focus on that, I know that I can share it in a way that no one else can and touch people the way that no one else can. And you have this power too. Your story is designed to share with people and touch them and touch people that no one else in this company can, no one else on this call can, no one at the corporate office can, no other millionaire can, but you can. And I'm so passionate about this, you guys, because you never know when somebody who's waiting for you to share your unique story with them might be someone like me. Because you see, there's one more piece of my story that I do want to share. And many of you know this piece and some of you do not. And here it is. That 2 years ago, one of our daughters at the age of 5 was diagnosed with leukemia. And it was because I had shared my story consistently for 3.5 years. And because someone had shared their story with me initially, that I was then able to focus on her, step back from my business, and have residual income totally take care of us. I was able to be by her side every minute, 43 nights in the hospital, dozens of spinal taps, hundreds of doses of chemotherapy. You guys, the most challenging season of our lives, and we were together. I was with her every single missed day of school because someone shared their story with me. I shudder to think where I'd be in the situation if it hadn't been for that. And because I committed to consistently sharing my story every single day for 3.5 years prior to this event that built the foundation for our freedom. It's nothing like it, you guys. Your story is so powerful. I am happy to share that today Clara is doing well. She finished up her chemotherapy treatments 3 months ago. And just 2 months ago, she got to go on a Make-A-Wish trip and ride in a helicopter in Hawaii. We all got to do that together as a family, and it was such a treat. And she is doing well in this journey. You guys, this is the power of your story. Somebody out there like me, like you, like all the leaders, is waiting for you to share your story with them that will inspire them to take a journey as well. We are counting on you to share your unique story with other people so that together as a movement and a company, we can continue to move on forward. You guys, thank you so much. That's gonna wrap it up for tonight. Let me stop the share so I can see you all better. Hallelujah. Yes, we're thankful for her victory over that. Thank you, Vicki. I appreciate you all for being on here tonight. Everybody smile for a quick selfie on Zoom. Grab your own iPhone if you'd like, snap a photo. All right, love you guys so much. Keep grabbing your birthday cake shake before it sells out. Truly a gift to spend this evening with you. And this training will be back every week now, every Tuesday night. So see you next time. Good night, everybody.